People laugh when I say Friday is a business movie. They think it's just weed jokes, porch gossip, and some wild neighborhood drama. Nah, Friday is a playbook, a straight up street MBA. It's survival economics dressed up in a comedy hoodie. And if you really from where I'm from, you know, you don't need a Wall Street office to learn about money. Sometimes all it takes is a porch and a day off. Craig and Smokey, they ain't just kicking it. They're two broke entrepreneurs with a front row seat to how money really moves in the hood. No jobs, no plan, no peace. But they still had the tools to figure it out. Most folks watched Friday and saw two dudes wasting time. Me, I saw a crash course in hustle, product management, liability, asset protection, and brand reputation all in one damn day. You thought it was a joke, but Friday was trying to put you on game. Let me break it down. Lesson number 1, the block is your market. See, most people watch Friday and just see two dudes sitting around smoking weed and cracking jokes. They miss the bigger picture. These guys understood their market better than half of us ever will. They weren't hustling in the traditional sense, but they were savvy observers of the hustle happening around them. Let's break it down. You ever notice how much Craig and Smokey see just sitting on the porch? They catch all the action. The drug deals, the street gossip, the hustlers trying to make moves, and even catch a full-on beatdown when Debo rolls through. And they didn't have to move an inch, just watched. And that's the thing. Craig didn't need to be out there running the block like Debo or Big Worm. He wasn't in the game, but he was watching the game unfold right in front of him. That's business 101. Understanding your market without diving in head first. This isn't about playing the game, it's about seeing how the game is played. Think about Jeff Bezos. He didn't start Amazon by immediately diving into e-commerce and shipping products across the world. Nah, Bezos started observing traffic patterns at bookstores. He studied what worked, what didn't, and used that data to build Amazon. Craig did the same thing. He wasn't running drugs or getting involved with Big Worm's money troubles, but he saw the market. The lesson here? The block is the market. Craig and Smokey were looking at everything. Who had the product, who had the power, who was running the show, and who was just along for the ride. And in that, they learned how to move, and more importantly, how not to move. The game's out there for everyone to see. But to succeed, you've got to know what's happening around you, what's working, what's not, and who's who. They didn't need to hustle hard, they just needed to see the hustle. Because the best way to get ahead is to watch the game long enough until you learn how to play it. That's the first lesson Craig and Smokey gave us. Study the market around you and you'll find the path to success, even if it starts with just a front row seat from the porch. Lesson number 2, don't play with product you can't pay for. Smokey did the unthinkable. He smoked the weed that he was supposed to sell. Big Worm gave him a job, trust, and product to flip. What did Smokey do? He smoked it all. Now Big Worm's after him with a vengeance. And what does that teach us? It's business 101. Mismanage your product and you either go broke or get got. You can't run a business if you don't respect your inventory. Whether you're dealing with weed, shoes, or tech products, the principle is the same. If you don't handle your product correctly, it'll cost you more than money. It'll cost you your business, your reputation, or worse, your life. Let's break it down. Smokey was supposed to flip Big Worm's weed and make that money. But instead, he treated it like a personal stash, using it up for his own enjoyment. Sure, it might have felt good in the moment, but now, he's facing consequences that could get him killed. This is where respect for the product comes in. Big Worm trusted Smokey with inventory, and Smokey let his personal desires get in the way of business. And that's a rookie mistake. No one's going to keep you around for long if you can't deliver on what you promised. Respect the terms. You agreed to move that product and get paid. If you can't pay up or meet your end of the deal, the consequences are real, and they aren't pretty. Big Worm's out for Smokey, and that's the type of thing that ends in disaster for anyone who doesn't understand the power of responsibility. Now think about your own business ventures. How often do we take shortcuts, mismanage inventory, or even fail to meet deadlines because we're distracted by what's fun or easy? If you're in business, You can't afford to play around with your product. The minute you do, you risk your business, your future, and your reputation. So, respect the game, respect the product, and respect the consequences. If you're going to be in business, understand the terms you've agreed to and deliver. Because when you don't, big worms waiting around the corner, ready to make sure you pay the price. Lesson number 3, stand on business. Debo's the Billy of the block. He rolls through with intimidation, running everything on fear. You see him pushing people around, taking what he wants, and no one dares to step up to him. But when he gets too comfortable, when he thinks he can push people without consequences, that's when Craig steps in. It's not just about throwing hands. Though Craig certainly delivers a fade at 2 a.m. that sends a message. This moment is about standing on business. Craig isn't just defending his pride, he's defending his right to be respected on his own turf. The lesson here? Leadership isn't always soft or quiet. Sometimes leadership is a stand you have to take when no one else will. Sometimes it's a matter of checking someone who's taking your kindness for weakness. Craig could have let Debo bully him like he does everyone else on the block. He could have been passive, tried to avoid confrontation, but he made a decision. He stood his ground. When Debo tries to take what's Craig's, it's not just a fight about who's stronger physically. It's a fight about who's going to lead the block. And Craig made it clear it wasn't going to be Debo. This scene isn't just about beating a bully. It's about knowing when to stop being passive and standing up for what's yours. Craig wasn't going to let fear dictate the rules. He was ready to face Debo, and the whole neighborhood witnessed it. This wasn't just about winning a fight. It was about establishing authority and making it clear that you can't run over him. In business, it's the same thing. You got to stand on business. You can't let people walk over you, no matter how big or intimidating they are. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, or your hustle, you need to know when it's time to stop playing passive and take what's rightfully yours. Leadership isn't always about being quiet or waiting for things to fall into place. Sometimes you got to make noise, draw a line, and defend what's yours, even if it means handling it face to face with the biggest threat around. Because at the end of the day, leadership ain't soft. Sometimes it's about throwing fists, making your mark, and letting people know where you stand, just like Craig did with Debo. Lesson number 4. Game comes from the old heads. Mr. Jones isn't the flashy, loud type. He is not the guy trying to show off his hustle. Instead, he's the type that's been around long enough to know that the game doesn't change. The wisdom he's dropping on Craig isn't from some self-help book, some seminar or TED Talk. It's old school, hands-on game that only comes with time. Mr. Jones teaches Craig the fundamentals. Work hard, fight for yours, stay out of trouble. It's not fancy, it's practical. And honestly, in a world of high-tech, get-rich-quick schemes, a lot of people miss these timeless lessons. Think about it. How many times do you hear someone say, "I want the easy way out"? We all want shortcuts, but Mr. Jones knows the score. Life is about hard work, discipline, and doing what's right, even if it means telling your son something that might not sound cool. He says, "You need to take care of business, Craig." And here's the kicker. Craig doesn't want to listen at first. He laughs it off. But that's the thing with old heads. They've seen this movie before. They know how the script goes. They're not trying to be trendy or politically correct. They're just telling you what's going to get you through the storm. The wisdom Mr. Jones drops isn't flashy, but it's foundational. It's not about trying to keep up with trends or chasing the next big opportunity. It's about being solid in your approach, building good habits, and staying grounded in the face of adversity. This type of mentorship doesn't come from a podcast or YouTube video. It comes from those older folks in your life, the ones who have been through it all, who've seen it all. Sometimes the best game comes from your parents, or even the neighbors who lived next door for decades. Lesson: Mentorship ain't always found in the latest podcast or TED Talk. Sometimes it's in your dad's bathroom rants or the neighbor's casual advice while they're trimming the lawn. They've got years of experience. They've lived the hard knocks and they're passing on the keys. The question is, are you listening? Lesson number 5. Hustle's everywhere if you ain't lazy. If you didn't catch it in Friday, you missed the fact that everybody's hustling in some way. It's not just Craig or Smokey trying to make ends meet. Nah, the whole neighborhood is filled with side hustlers. Whether it's the CD guy, the ice cream man, or even Izal, the dude who's trying to finesse his way to a lawsuit, everybody's got something they're working on. And none of them are waiting for the perfect moment to start. They're just moving. Take Smokey, for example. He might be the classic weed guy in the movie, but he's also resourceful. Yeah, he's smoking up some of his product, and yeah, he's wasting time goofing off, but even when he's slacking, he's still out there moving. He knows that hustle isn't about waiting for the right time. It's about finding a way to move even when things aren't ideal. Hustle is everyday work. You've got to put in the effort, no matter what's going on around you. You can't wait for an opportunity to come knocking on your door. You've got to make your own. Izal scam to get a lawsuit? That's classic hustle too. It's unethical, but it's a hustle nonetheless. The point is, nobody's sitting around doing nothing in Friday. Everyone's looking for ways to flip what they have into something bigger. And here's the bottom line. You've got talents, ideas, skills. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Flip it, sell it, push it. You're not going to get paid to chill. Nobody's handing you a check to do nothing. Like Craig, you might have to work a regular job, but that doesn't mean you can't have a side hustle. Don't just sit on your talent. Find ways to flip it. Lesson: there's always a hustle if you're willing to look for it. Stop waiting for the perfect time or the perfect opportunity. Take what you've got, work with it, and get moving. In the world of Friday, hustle is everywhere, and the only thing keeping you from it is your own laziness. Lesson number 6. Reputation is better than resume. Craig didn't have a fancy resume. He didn't even have a stable job at the beginning of Friday. He was just trying to make it through his day without getting shot or beat up. But what Craig had and what Debo didn't was respect. It wasn't about how much money he had or how many people he could control. It was about how he carried himself and how he stood up for his people. In the streets, respect is the currency that matters most. Debo, the local bully, might have had fear on his side, but fear is temporary. It's loud, it's threatening, but it doesn't last. Craig, he earned respect the hard way, by standing up for what's right, protecting his friends, and by not backing down when it counted. What Craig taught us is that reputation isn't built from what's on your resume. It's built from how you move, how you handle the hard moments, how you take care of your people, and how you protect your integrity. People know you for what you've done, how you've treated others, and how you've shown up when the stakes were high. A resume might get you in the door, but your reputation gets you the long-term respect. Debo relied on his reputation for fear, but that only works for so long. Craig, on the other hand, showed that true leadership and influence come from the respect you build, not through intimidation, but through action. And while fear might shut people up, respect will make them listen. Lesson: your name carries weight, especially in business. How you handle your business, how you treat your partners, how you show up when it's time to fight, that's what people will remember. And that's what will open doors for you when the resume is long forgotten. Friday wasn't just a comedy, it was a survival guide in disguise. It showed you how to manage your inventory, make strategic moves, protect your reputation, and adapt when things go south. It was a blueprint for life, business, and survival. You just thought it was about jokes, joints, and Jordans. Now run it back and pay attention this time. Who knew a stoner and a guy who got fired on his day off could teach us so much about hustling, adapting, and earning respect, right? But here's the thing. You saw the movie, but did you catch the lessons? Let me know in the comments which business lessons from Friday hit you the hardest. If you love this video, then click the one on the screen. We share some business lessons in the Boondocks. We'll see you over there.